Okay, so I just watched a video about Rachel Zegler. I had watched some videos like a month ago about the situation, and honestly, I was maybe a little bit lightweight on the hate wagon, but now I just feel bad for her. This is gonna be all over the place, and hate is a strong word. It was just kind of secondhand embarrassment about the stuff she was saying. But first off, I guess I wanted to talk about the race thing. Obviously, I'm biased because I am also Hispanic. I think she's half Hispanic and half white. I can't remember. Okay, so with that aspect, I don't understand why people are so mad about that. I understand that Snow White is supposed to be pale or whatever, but she's pretty pale. In my opinion, there's definitely other people that are Hispanic that are even paler than her. So if they wanted to, have more diversity representation, they could have hired someone that was paler and a different ethnicity. But anyway, so for example, for The Little Mermaid, I know people made a big ass deal about that too, that the Little Mermaid was black. But I don't know. I feel like that... I don't get why people were so mad about it, because I feel like with live action stuff isn't exactly the same. When I heard about it, I was like, okay, just as long as they make her hair red, it's fine. I think her hair ended up being like a true orange type of hair. What is it called? A true redhead type of hair. But I was like, oh, I guess that kind of makes sense that it's a true orange one instead of like an actual red. But I don't know where I was going with this, but am I recording? Yes, I am. And then a lot of people named so many different actresses that have, the pale skin and the red hair and blah, blah, blah. But also, I guess I'm also biased because I also really like that actress. I watched, what is it called? I think it was, Grownish. I liked it at the beginning, then it got kind of annoying. Like the Zoe character got kind of annoying because it was like a whole love triangle situation, and I was more in there for the side characters. But anyway, she was in that, and so I liked her in that, so maybe I'm biased because of that too. But also, I haven't watched either of these two movies. I'm just not a big movie watcher, and I'm a much less live action movie watcher. I have watched some of the Snow White remakes, the Huntsman one with Kristen Stewart. I don't remember anything of it. It was kind of weird that they changed the whole storyline or whatever. And even with her, she had long brown hair. She was pale, but she had long brown hair. So technically, it wasn't exactly like the short black hair and pale skin or whatever. So, there's that. I think there was one with Lily Collins, too. I can't remember. Anyway, and I guess I kind of agree with what other people are saying. Just make new movies instead of redoing the same thing. I think probably the only live action movies that I've seen that are, Disney to live action was The Lion King and maybe The Book of Life. I can't remember. And that was like years ago. And Lion King, I think both of those were because somebody else wanted to watch them, so I watched them, I don't know. I think I still prefer the original ones. I mean, The Lion King was cool, It did actually look like good CGI, but also it was just kind of like, why? Oh, which actually, technically, Lion King is ripped off a Japanese movie. I don't remember what it was called either. I think it was supposed to be like a little white lion. Yeah, so people are really mad about the race thing or whatever. So that's one thing. The second thing is about the CGI people. Yeah, the CGI people look creepy. They should have just hired real people. I guess there was a thing where, I don't remember what his name was either. I guess they were mad about them hiring little people. I think that's the right term. And so there was one person that said that it's wrong to hire them, but everybody else in that community said that it was messed up. They did take the jobs from them, and instead they made CGI people. They look creepy, dude. They just fucking look creepy. It's like the Twilight baby all over again. I feel like compared to older movies, like for example, X-Men, the CGI and the effects are much better now. But like these characters look fucking creepy AF, man. I don't know. Or maybe if they were like, actually never mind, that's kind of bad. I was gonna say maybe they could have hired like kids to play the dwarves, because you know they're shorter than Rachel. Maybe that would have been bad, because then there would have been like child labor in the mines, you know? Okay, so I guess the other thing is like all the stuff she was talking about in interviews, basically. And I guess the main thing was, okay, I guess there's like two things. So one of them is her just talking shit about the role and kind of seeming like she wasn't grateful for having the role and just seeing it as a whatever job or whatever. Which, you know, a lot of us feel that way or have felt that way about our jobs, you know, like, you know, we don't like this or that or whatever. But we don't fucking tell that to the world and to your boss, you know, to their face. Oh, I fucking hate my job. You know what I mean? Like, and it kind of just seems like she was doing that a little bit with her interviews. So I feel like that was one of the things that, like, sometimes you don't have to say everything that you feel about your job, you know? You have to keep some of the things to yourself. And then, so for the other thing was that she was kind of bashing on the love story of it. She was saying that you don't really need... Oh, basically she was saying that, like, it's dumb that women want love. Or at least at the Snow White film, originally it was a girl falling in love with a stalker. That's how she put it. Which, I guess in the Snow White film, the original one, it kind of does seem a little bit like a stalker. Mostly because it just showed the guy once. But I guess that happened because they just cut scenes from the movie because they just couldn't draw him. I forgot what the actual reason was, but... you know, they were hand drawing shit, so they just kind of ended up cutting him a little bit off. But I guess the full story is that, you know, they did hang out and then they dated and blah, blah. But anyway, where was I going with this? I don't know. Something about love life and blah, blah. Again, as someone who is Mexican, I grew up with soap operas, and honestly, I guess I shouldn't say all, but most shows and movies have some type of rom-com aspect to it, and I feel like that's probably my favorite thing in movies and shows. It's the rom-com aspect. I know that it probably shouldn't be everything in life, you know, the love life component in your life shouldn't be all of it, but I think it's okay to want that, you know? And she was just kind of talking shit about it and saying that, you know, you don't need love to, what is it called? To be a leader? I forgot what she said. But anyway, where was I going with this? Something like that. I started to think, and like, maybe she was going through a breakup, you know, we don't know. Maybe she got wronged by someone and she was like, F men, you know? I'm trying not to cuss, but I think I have cussed already. Anyway, and I feel like a lot of us have felt this way, you know, when you go through a breakup, you're like, I don't want to date anymore, and like everybody sucks, and, you know, romantic feelings are dumb, you know? So I'm like, maybe that's what happened to her, and that's why she was saying all that stuff. We don't know. I feel like it's kind of one of the main reasons that you can protect your heart a little bit and be like, you know what? Whatever, love life is not that important, so I'm just going to focus on other things. And I don't know, some people really do not care for romance in their life. I don't know, and it's okay. And then the other thing is that you can have multiple things, okay? Like, you can be a boss ass bitch, but you can also have a nice, a nice man, you know? So fast forward to now, the movie is released and people haven't gone to watch it, which, I mean, maybe part of it was the interviews and part of it was the hate on the film, the CGI and all that. But part of it is like, I feel like most people don't fucking go to movies. At least I don't fucking go out to the movie theater. The only time that we actually go out to the movie theater is with Marvel movies. And sometimes we just fucking wait for them to come out on Disney Plus. Kind of boring, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of better to watch shit by yourself. Do I still want to watch The Little Mermaid and The Snow White eventually? Maybe. But like I said, movies are just so hard to watch. They're so long. I can watch 20-minute episodes for 2 hours, but I can't, like, I don't know, a movie's just too fucking long. So anyway, eventually I'll watch them. Maybe. But yeah, I think maybe it's just not, it's not a thing to go to the movie. So I think that's one. And then two, I don't know, people don't really like live action shit. Most people, at least. I don't know, unless it's like your favorite movie. Actually, you know what live action one I've wanted to watch is the Sonic one. I know people made a big deal about that one too, that the CGI looked fucking terrible. And then they fixed it. Oh, I guess I watched the Pikachu movie with Ryan Reynolds. But, I mean, technically that's not a remake. It's just a weird cartoon to live action random-ass movie. That was kind of funny, but I guess I like Ryan Reynolds, but apparently he... well, I guess his wife did terrible things too about interviews. I don't know, I guess people have been interviewing kind of bad. I don't know. And I think also the other big thing is like humility. We tend to like actors and actresses that are humble and sweet, and her interviews just didn't seem that way. So for example, the David, what is it called? Dave Letterman, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so that comes up on our TV when we turn the TV on sometimes. And sometimes I catch like a couple of minutes of interviews, or I've seen, what is it called? Google. I don't know. I haven't watched that many, but it's like I've seen some of the Marvel characters and what's his name? The Toy Story guy. Oh my God. I don't know what his name is. And he's a pretty famous, what is his name? Forrest Gump. Oh my God. Woody in Toy Story. I don't know his name. Anyway, I'm not very good with names because, again, I'm not a huge movie person. But anyway, so when you watch other people's interviews, like, they just are very likable. And it's like maybe they're not actually likable, but they just present themselves as likable and, you know, charismatic. Oh my God. And that one girl, what's her name? Emma Stone. I watched some of her interviews in the Dave Letterman thing or whatever. And I don't know, she just seems super nice. And it kind of just makes you want to watch the movie because they seem nice in real person. And I guess in her interviews, she just kind of came off as arrogant. And a lot of people, including myself, don't like to see arrogance, especially as someone with social anxiety and stuff. Like, maybe it's just that I envy people that are confident, but I guess there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Anyway, point is that all of that happened, and I just feel bad for her because I guess she's getting like a shit ton of hate. And I mean, she did mess up with her interviews and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, does she really deserve all the fucking hate that she's getting? I guess she's getting death threats, and she's, you know, getting made fun of from like all ends or whatever. And I don't know, I feel bad for her, and it must be hard to get all the hate. And that's pretty much it. I don't know. I hope she's doing okay. Anyway, thank you for watching, or I guess listening. Bye.